Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Dreams Unveiled. I am Daun Whittaker with my co-host, not your co-host, but my co-host, Melissa Salazar. And the reason that you are seeing us on Zoom is not because I'm still in Florida. Indeed, I made it back. It is because we are in a state of emergency due to snow, and we have been asked to not have a lot of travel on the roads. So I'm working at home and she is at home.
Yeah,
So this is a first for us.
we're doing what we're supposed to do safely.
That's right. Yeah, that's a first for me. I'm not a very safe person. No.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I did go outside earlier and it was nice. Pretty snow. It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, the snow is like really brand new because it was coming down so hard yesterday and this morning that it's like any footprints, any marring of the snow just gets covered up pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
Well, today, and I hope that the person that who is giving the dreams actually somebody Melissa knows in Texas, and I hope they're not in a part of Texas that is getting storms because some areas are getting snow and
Yeah,
ice. So
she is. They do have a lot of snow out there. Not a lot of snow. It's a dusting of snow, but for Texans, it's dangerous out there.
I understand that entirely. I get that. With that, I'm going to read the dream as is described by Bella the Dreamer from Texas. I woke up early morning from a borderline nightmare. I remember feeling nervous and unsettled about the whole situation, so I knew the dream was more of a nightmare rather than a dream. I appreciate that. My daughter was in the hallway talking to her bio father, who hasn't been in her life for most of her life, and he was talking to her about her boyfriend. I remember telling him to leave and if he has any questions to talk to me and not her. I could feel my daughter's emotions in my dream as if I was her wanting to know her father, but also being scared of who this man was. I can't remember much more, but I remember I was in the bathroom before I was in the hallway. I can't quite.
Yeah, before she saw her daughter in the hallway, she was in the bathroom.
Okay.
Yeah. So she obviously must have like heard them talking and then went out.
Okay, got it. All right. So, so this is Bella, daughter Maria, boyfriend or husband?
It's her boyfriend.
Okay. And his name is Jose.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to do, so this is going to be a little bit different because Melissa has most of the info on this. So I'm going to ask some questions and we're going to piece together. I think this is going to be a very cut and dry
Yeah.
situation. One of the shorts I recently did, it was probably a short, uh, was about trauma. And it is about how much trauma is evident when you leave a traumatic situation, right?
Yeah.
So the whole thing with this sounds like that are her and Jose still together?
No, so Jose is actually in jail. Jose's
Okay.
been in jail since the beginning of, or I guess since like her daughter was like 4 or so. And Bella has, they don't have any contact together because he's been in jail. So it's kind of like they had a child together. They were in an abusive relationship. He was like a drug dealer for a while. Nothing crazy, but still like selling drugs is selling drugs. I think it was weed, honestly, but still like in Texas back then it was illegal, and it still is illegal there. So so I think her having this dream has really like brought up a lot of things in her past.
So it sounds so here's what I'm going to tell you my take on this real quick, okay?
Yeah.
This could be a real quick thing. In general, because of Maria having a boyfriend. So how old's Maria?
Maria's maybe like 16, and I think she called me, and this is like her real first boyfriend, and the little 16-year-old teenager. I think he's like going to be soon going to her house, so she's just been like kind of like on edge about everything. And she was telling me she had a conversation at work where they were talking about like they're like quote unquote baby mamas and like baby fathers and things like that. And I think all of that kind of really triggered this dream or this nightmare for her that night.
It is a nightmare because the past trauma is put away and she's safe, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's really the important thing. And so what happens is you put away a lot of that fear and anxiety and all of the things that happen during a traumatic experience when it has no way to harm you, but it's going to rear its ugly head because it's not gone. It's still in there.
Right, right.
And so that's the dream actually happened.
It's pretty right. It's like pretty like when she was telling me, I was like, oh, I'm like me and Dad are gonna have great.
Yeah.
I'm like, she was in the bathroom, when she, I guess, heard the guy, or like Jose, when she heard Jose, and she was probably like, who's her daughter talking to? She like goes out there and checks it, and then, so him talking to her in the hallway, right in front of, her daughter's room, Bella. I feel like that's pretty significant because like the bedroom's like really personal.
That's right. Intimate. The bedroom is one
Yeah.
of the most intimate spaces in a house. And I'll reiterate right here that your house or a house you're in while you're dreaming represents you, your inner self. The last common dream symbolism I did talked about what some of the rooms of the house meant. And I really think that this house, she's in the bathroom. So bathroom, depending, did she indicate what she was doing in the bathroom? Was she just in the bathroom?
Maybe showering. I think that's what she said, that she was showering. She, when she called me, she was kind of frantic when, she was like giving it all to me. She really wanted, me and you to analyze this for her. So,
Well, it's going to be quick.
yeah.
So the shower makes sense because once again, that's a cleansing process, and a bathroom is another very intimate space in a house.
Hmm.
And it's an opportunity to really get clean and to rid yourself of the burdens, the things that have been troubling you going on. So this really makes a little bit of sense. Probably after the conversation with the coworkers,
Hmm.
I'm going to guess that it really got her thinking.
Yeah.
And the daughter in the dream, Maria may have represented her daughter because her daughter just got this boyfriend and things are progressing with the boyfriend,
Yeah.
but it may also represent her.
Oh,
So think about this: a young Maria, you know, a young Bella and her boyfriend.
that's true because she too, well, not too, but like Maria's mother, Bella, was a teenage pregnancy.
Okay.
So, I wonder if that has anything to do with it. Her like being nervous that, this new boyfriend, Jose talking to her, Maria about the boyfriend, it might just be all kind of bringing a lot of stuff up for her.
Absolutely. I would say absolutely. And there may be similarities to her courtship with Jose. There may be similarities, and she may not even be aware that she's making those connections, but her brain is making those connections. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so then think about it. We actually she has to be aware of it because then she had a conversation at work. I have a dog in here now with a ball. Uh,
Yeah, I have
so
a cat in heat right here.
So, hi, Kitty. I can only show you her tail. No, she's not going to let me. Never mind. Uh, that she had a conversation about the daughter and the daughter's new boyfriend. This must be like the first serious relationship this girl has had.
Yeah, this
Okay.
is the first one that Bella's ever told me about, and the first boy to ever come home over, or soon to be coming to meet Bella for the first time.
Okay. So think about this. She's talking to her coworkers about Maria's new boyfriend, and
Hmm.
somehow it came on the subject of Jose.
Right.
So clearly there's a link there. There's
Hmm.
some indication somebody asked something or was drawn
Great
into the
topic.
conversation.
Yeah.
This is clearly on her mind. That she is thinking now of Jose. And it sounds like, so you're saying Maria was about 4 years old when Bella. So, so Jose's in prison. He's not in jail.
Correct.
Okay, a big difference. But
Yeah.
so he's been in there for a while. So
Right. And
she
I don't
was
think he's getting out for any time soon.
okay.
Bella has probably a fear that she never knows when he's going to come out.
Yeah,
Okay.
that is really a fear. But when you're not talking about him, and when there's no reason to even think about him, that fear is far away.
Right.
But the boyfriend now, and then the dream are really putting this in her face.
Right. Up forward.
And so I see a lot of unresolved. There's real unresolved trauma. I mean, the thing is that Bella has moved on with her life, but she probably, and I want to say this carefully, she probably really should be talking to somebody, okay? Because this is still there buried in her, right?
Right.
Look how,
Bella's definitely like a person who just keeps living on. She like grows from it, but I think it's still there.
Mhm. And so the idea, especially, pairing with her daughter and even maybe seeing some similarities to her daughter's new relationship
Yeah.
and
Or
maybe
even
seeing herself in that.
right. Right. I definitely think it's like she's seeing maybe like herself in her daughter and doesn't want her daughter to maybe go through some things that she went through.
Right. Well, look at her. Her mother's now becoming very protective of, making sure that she has proper supervision and all of that. So I would say absolutely. Just like in the dream, I think Maria represents Maria because Maria has a boyfriend, but Maria also represents Bella.
Yeah. And I think Maria's definitely like when she said in the dream that, she if he has any questions to go through her and not her daughter, so definitely putting up boundaries in probably in and out of her dream.
Well, and here's what the interesting thing is. Yes, she is really making the point that she has fear of Jose returning, especially now that her daughter's older and kind of knows what's going on, but has had no, pretty much for all intents and purposes, no relationship with her birth father. So I think that that's a significant thing, but really her saying that he needs to come to me and not to her for information is really her protecting that younger self of hers
Hmm.
that got herself into a very dangerous, sounds like, relationship. And
Yeah.
she's so afraid for her daughter because of what she went through. In a way, that dream, she's telling Jose, talk to the older, more mature, knowledgeable me, and
Yeah.
not the one that you really took advantage of. And she may really, even though she may know that Maria's boyfriend's a great kid, but she has these fears because of her own experience, and she's projecting that a bit.
Yeah. I feel that is too. I feel like Maria, I think she's a good kid, and you'd always hope that, your kids always make the best decisions, but as teenagers and their hormones doesn't make a good mix.
Right, absolutely.
Not
We've
one of
all
them.
we've all been there as parents, right? You've been
Yeah.
there, I've been
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah. My daughter's a little bit younger than Bella's daughter, but still, like around the same age of having boyfriends, it's nerve wracking.
it is nerve-wracking. So my thought on this, though, is that there's a lot unresolved, and trauma. First of all, I'm not saying she has PTSD. It doesn't seem like she does. I don't know her enough to give a diagnosis, but it doesn't mean that this isn't a trauma response.
Yeah.
And and the thing, whether it is PTSD, whether it is any other kind of trauma response or degree of trauma, however you want to look at that, the reality is that in her, this still exists and is causing grief. And it could resolve on its own. I mean, you could have PTSD, and PTSD can fully resolve on its own without any intervention, without any help. But
Is the mind crazy? Just what the mind can do on its own
the
sometimes?
mind is amazing, and sometimes it can even put PTSD in a really have somebody have some real positive and favorable growth out of that. There's actually a name for that, which eludes me right now, but that could really happen. And I think where her anxiety is A, not knowing when he's getting out exactly,
Hmm.
and B, uh, not realizing how close to home this is, this relationship with her daughter. And I think A, she should. So Bella, hopefully you're watching this. You need to really watch your dreams. Your dreams right now may be a key as to, do you need to have someone to confide in and talk to? Do you need something more therapeutic? Because this can easily be projected on your daughter without you even realizing that it is. And it's the teenage years are so much harder than they ever were for any generation before them, I feel.
That's true. I feel that like the cyberbullying, it's like everything's online and in real life.
That's right. And it's complex. And it's hard to navigate, and we don't get manuals.
Yeah. No.
So I would actually pay attention to the dreams, maybe write a journal, or any time that Jose's name pops into her head, to just really be aware of the how much this is really uncovering or affecting her, because it's
Hmm.
sometimes very hard to tell, especially when, like I said, the trauma is not a threat, because the trauma is in prison for the long term.
Yeah.
So that would be my guess, but it definitely goes to show that there's some fear there, and
Yeah.
and very a bit reactive as soon as you start talking about it, and then you have a dream like
Hmm.
that. But Bella, I hope Maria's relationship goes very well, and I hope that you are a great guiding star for her. So
Bella's a wonderful mother, so I know, she's very like you said, she's protective and she wants the best for her daughter. And our dreams really are, kind of a window onto what our inner mind is thinking.
absolutely. Absolutely. So, with all that, I just want to say thank you for sharing Bella's dream. Thank you for, because I have not even had a chance to go through anything to come up and look at some of the dreams that people have given me, since I just got back from Florida,
Yeah.
trying to beat the storm, the national storm here. And I'm very grateful that I'm not grateful for her anxiety about this, but I'm certainly grateful that somebody gave you a dream
Yeah.
and took that burden off of me. And and Bella, I just really pray the best for you and for Maria. Uh, in the meantime, for everyone else, thank you for joining us today.
Yes.
Share, like, and subscribe.
And have sweet dreams.
That's right. Thank you and goodbye.